thank you so much for coming to our featured program at our second annual Local Author Festival. My name is Daniel Barber. I'm the Programming and Marketing Librarian. Now, back in January, we had a mystery festival, so it's almost a year now, and we had a great program where we had Janet and Sharon came and did what was called She Can Do It, right? Yeah, and it was a multimedia presentation that was great, and they told me about another program they have a fun time with, and it sounded like so much fun. I stored it away and I was like, we're going to use that at our local author festival. So that's what you're here today. It's called a Making a Mystery, a live improv show. You've already gotten a few instructions, but we just want to thank the Friends of the Burlington Public Library for sponsoring this program. They paid for Sisters in Crime to be here today. What is Sisters in Crime and who are they? I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So let's give a warm welcome to Sisters in Crime. Oh, that's, we all have pens and cards, but yeah. I'm going to pass it right over.
I have to stand up to talk sometimes. I'm Susan Olexi. I write crime fiction, obviously. We are members of Sisters in Crime, which is a national organization to support women in crime writing. And we have readers, writers, book reviewers, and people who just love to be part of crime fiction. I write cozies, I write short stories. And right now I'm the outgoing president of the local chapter, the New England chapter of Sisters in Crime. And Kate Floor is the immediate past president, and I'll hand it to you.
Yeah, so we are actually such an inclusive organization that we have brothers in crime as well as sisters in crime, but we came about partly because what women do well is network. And networking was originally to put pressure on reviewers and publishers to recognize women's work, and now it's sort of us hanging out together, having fun doing these programs. So I write, I write serious mysteries, strong women, serious mystery, police procedurals, romantic suspense, thrillers, true crime, and short stories.
I'm Janet Ray Stevens. I'm a member of Sisters in Crime New England and Sisters in Crime the National Chapter. I write a mixture of historical fiction, a lot of mystery. There's mystery in pretty much everything I write, some time travel and romance.
I'm Sharon Healy Yang. I am a mystery writer too, obviously. I write stuff that is set in the 1940s, so it's sort of like the classic mystery with a sense of humor, wit, a little romance, and strong woman lead.
So what we're going to do is, once you have filled out your cards and put them in these bags, we are going to draw from the bags a cast of characters and a setting, and we are going to give our characters' occupations, and then we are going to begin to figure out who's the victim. We will choose some of the weapons that you suggested and some of the motives, and from that we will choose a victim with your help, and we will compose a story. And only as we begin to compose will we have any idea whether or not it's a cozy mystery or a very dark mystery or a mystery that's probably more like an international thriller, though I've never done one of those yet. But you know, it's all entirely based on what you give us to work with.
All right. So has everybody had a chance to put their cards into the bags? Okay. That's our first bag.
Okay. Which one should go first?
Which one do you want?
Name?
Well, you have to start with characters.
Okay.
Okay. So I get to pull out. We all have a very specific job. First one. Let's see. Everything depends on the measure.
I totally love it. She's like the gift fairy.
Okay. Barb Star.
Barb Star.
Barb Star.
Barb Star.
Bob Star. How many?
S-T-A-R.
How many? At least 7. Maybe 8, we'll see.
No, I was gonna say how many hours was that?
Oh,
Answer
yeah.
my question.
Do you want another card?
We do.
Yeah, let's do it.
So another card. Oh, Billy Bob.
I don't know, we're obviously going to have short mystery. It's a short story.
This is probably going to be humorous. Okay, so now we have, Hanako.
How do you spell that?
Hanako.
Did you spell that?
Hamako. Okay. All right, do you want the name?
We do?
One another name. Okay. Regina.
Yes. Needs a last name.
Regina.
Regina needs a last name.
My dog.
Give her a last name, please. Yeah, you give her a last name.
Birdsong.
Birdsong, okay, that's very nice. Birdsong.
As in sing.
Do you want another name?
We do?
Another name. Caitlin. K-A-T-E-L-Y-N.
Is this going to be at a girls' school?
It sounds like a girl's school except for Billy Bob. You don't have to take the next one, but you can look for a guy name.
We have a rather murderous female population here. Okay, Nancy Drew.
Nancy Drew.
Well, put her aside because she's already using.
It's all different.
And now we have Penelope. Could this be because the audience is pushing female?
Got some guys out there.
Do I detect a prejudice?
We would be detecting a prejudice in you, my dear.
In my opinion, I'm not. Okay. So let's see. Heather.
Leave her back.
Should I not just?
Let's wait and see.
Lauren DeVries.
I like that name.
This is a good one.
It is.
Did I request that it was long?
Yes, you're free, let's send it before. It's fine. I didn't give the instructions quick enough about those last names in there.
Lauren DeVries.
That's,
Just squeeze it in there. Yeah, there you go.
you are the friend of that. I mean, Lauren, because you got.
That's true, actually.
So what else? Drake May.
Ooh.
Isn't that a sports?
No, I don't.
Drake May, right
I mean, what could Drake and Drake and May be doing here? He's too good at football for doing it.
6, 7, 8.
Any people listen to no one, unless you like some.
Are you done?
Yeah, I think so, unless you've got a great name, no one can't resist. No.
Octavian Cuttle.
That's a killer. C-U-T-T-L-E-M-A-N.
That's what I.
Oh, I love Octavia Bell. You know, I think I went to high school with him. He wasn't so nice back then. I wonder how he turned out.
Well, we're going to find out.
Yes, we are.
Albert Einstein.
No. I think we got enough.
I think we're good enough.
Susan.
All righty, now,
Thank you.
we are going to come up with some occupations, and you guys are going to have to choose which occupation goes with which of these characters.
First occupation. Do you have enough room there? Bricklayer.
Ooh. I think it's, what's her name, Barb?
That's not Octavia.
Which of these names sounds like a bricklayer?
Billy Bob.
Really, Bob?
Billy Bob the Bricklayer has a lovely alliteration.
Do that right here.
Keep in mind that anybody can commit murder.
Right.
So the next one is the kindergarten teacher.
But we can't see these, so you have to decide.
I think Drake May could.
Any suggestions? Who's our kindergarten teacher?
Drake May.
Drake May.
He's our kindergarten teacher because he has so many kids. He's so good at football.
So we have a dog walker.
If you really wanted to go against that, you'd make that Octavian. But you may be saving this. And who do you think is the dog walker?
Is there something going on?
Caitlin?
Caitlin's the dog walker. So now we have a criminal lawyer.
Ooh.
Shouldn't that be Octavian?
She just loves Octavia.
I love Octavian.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What about Octavia? Charlie Willis there. No. Photographer. Rock star. That would be Regina.
I don't know, I always said Bob Star, I like Bob
I
Star.
like Barb Star. It's sort of like Red Star, Girl Reporter, or whatever.
Is that, what did that say? Regina or Bob Star?
You could have been another better teacher.
That's good. I think that
Oh, we have to find John. A Pokemon trainer.
Pokemon trainer. I didn't even know there was such a thing. Well, you know, we live and learn.
So we need something for Lauren and something for Regina. And Penelope.
So. Barb is the. And Drake is the.
Drake is the kindergarten teacher.
Lawyer is Octavia.
Right. Right there, yeah. I'm gonna move this over here after.
Okay. And the food critic. How about food?
Oh, food critic. Give me one.
Penelope.
Penelope? Okay.
So who doesn't have a job? Octavian?
Lauren, no, Octavia is the criminal lawyer.
Oh, right.
Lauren
It's
and
Laura,
Regina.
right.
Regina doesn't have a job.
We've got more than enough.
Well, let's find a job for Laura. Lauren needs a job.
One more job.
One more job.
One more job. Football players.
Could be Lauren. You know, because you said it could be a guy. That's it. You guys are saying Lauren?
Yes, Lauren DeFries is a football player.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Lauren.
Okay. So now we have a cast of characters. We need to know where this book is taking place. Right?
Where is it taking place?
How many should we choose? About 4?
So I think we have many different definitions of place. One is a large food cabinet. Is that where the body is stored?
That must be where where the body is stored.
Large food cabinet.
That's interesting.
I know, that's not,
Never previously used it.
well, think of it as a pantry.
Right.
We used to have large pantries
That's
at
right.
home,
Say, let's
so
go
this
with
is
it.
a hospital.
So if we only had a butler.
We don't have a butler there. Okay, so there we
There's
have
a
large.
Works as a butler in his free time. After starting playing bricks. Bottles.
Buttles. This buttles is a great word.
The Boston apartment.
Okay.
Now, sometimes if you're doing just random, whatever you pull out, you can have some very strange combinations. Yeah. I think that's, those are two things. That was a photo. An 80s Christmas party.
Ooh, I like that. An awful
So I like that one a lot. We got lots of perms in that one.
What, you like that?
Bad perm.
Yeah.
On men and women.
And bad sweaters.
Oh, yeah.
With shoulder
I
pads.
was just gonna say, you can hide a murder weapon in the shoulder
Yes,
pads.
exactly. This is where we hid them. Those little tiny pocket revolvers would probably go very nicely inside of those shoulder pads.
A food festival.
It's also nice.
That has possibilities.
Alrighty, people, I think 4 is good.
Or is good.
What did you say, a food festival?
Food festival. So, all right, this is your choice. This is really going to get the book rolling. So here's the important question. What is our setting? Is it a pantry? Is it a food festival? Is it a Boston apartment? Or is it an 80s themed Christmas party?
Food festival. Food festival.
Okay?
What is it?
It's the food festival.
It's the food festival.
It
Okay.
can't be an 80s themed food festival?
I think it would be.
I want those
I
perms.
I want the 50s themed Christmas party where you have the Jell-O rolls and the celery with cream
So-
cheese.
The food festival is where the murder takes place, is that it?
Yep, that's the setting.
Food festival.
All right, this is great. Now,
Motive.
before we go to motives, let's pick a victim.
Let's pick a victim. Okay.
A victim who dies.
So these are the characters. Lauren DeFries, who's a football player. Billy Mobb, who's a bricklayer. Drake May, who's a professional, who's a kindergarten teacher. Caitlin, who's a dog walker. Hamako, who's a Pokemon trainer. Octavian Cuddleman, who's a criminal lawyer. Barb Starr, who's a photographer. And Penelope, who's a food critic. That fits right in.
Fits right in.
Yes.
Octavian. Okay.
Already got the motion then.
I think that's true. The food critic.
Yeah.
The food critic is the victim.
So do we think the food critic is the victim?
Yeah.
Yes. That goes so well at a food
Okay.
festival, right?
Where's my food?
Okay, so the food critic is the, that's Penelope.
Poor.
Okay, so we're lining them up here, so we're not having everybody.
It was hard enough when she had to go by Penny all her life, and now she's dead. Sort of thing. Okay,
Well,
so.
she's a critic, so.
So usually when we write a mystery, as you probably know, because you're mystery readers, there's more than one person who has a motive for wanting the food critic dead. And so our next challenge is going to be to look at a bunch of motives. And some of those motives will fit some of these people. Usually everyone has, we will give everyone a motive, and some of those motives will be very strong. What do you think? I mean, do we need more than, we need a motive per person except for Penelope?
How many suspects do we want to have?
Yeah.
Do we want 3 suspects, which in a short story would be a good one, right? We want a little bit more if you're writing something that's a long one. So maybe 3 or 4? Just this 3? How many say 3?
4.
How many say 4?
Okay. Then the hand up is 5.
So 3 motives.
Yep, and you're gonna choose the best of the best.
Okay, so
Because you're a mystery writer, and so you
we want to have 5. Okay. Now. Jealousy is 1. That's
that's standard, right?
yeah. That's what they're jealous of.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
work that out.
I like that. Okay. Envy. That's always pretty good. Is that
I
jealousy?
think jealousy and then you're too close.
No, jealousy is here 3 times.
Well, that's because, see, where's the greed and the,
And jealousy is here a 4th time.
Wow.
And now a 5th time. Okay, folks.
enough with the jealousy.
Why are the years in this
Are
group?
we getting like a psychological profile of the audience?
Here's one, I like this one.
Yes.
Revenge for kidnapping his pet octopus.
Especially at a food festival, because we know
Oh,
about the octopus's
yeah.
fate.
Kidnapping the pet octopus and then cooking it.
This is a food festival. Oh, now this makes this book so much darker.
Fame. Somebody wants scientific fame.
Scientific fame.
Well, you know,
Fame of any sort.
cooking, food, that's chemistry.
Yes.
Chemistry.
All right.
Okay.
I think that's good. That's all they will let us have, so we have to go with it.
Maybe there's some chemical in octopus that can be used, that biologists or chemists have discovered can be used for some
Absolutely.
important ends, so.
And it may be that, well, it may well be that the person who took the octopus was just looking for an octopus, but the person who had designs on the octopus
Yes.
was its rare chemical
Right.
properties.
So you got, and that will be good for the readers because they're like, well, which reason? We know it's the octopus, but what reason do they want that octopus? So that'll, the 2 different people with 2 different motives will, be brain
Maybe the
challenged.
critic was anti-fish, so we wanted not to have fish, we wanted vendors.
Well, isn't an octopus actually an
All right.
But he doesn't know that.
We're required to know so much and look so much up. So now we have some choices to make, and I don't know whether we need to know the weapon. I think if we have the weapon on the table too, then we can, sometimes we do the weapon later. I think we can do do you guys want to know what the potential, we will choose a couple of weapons so that, maybe 3. Again, a knife is very obvious at a food festival, so we may be looking for some others.
Are we through with,
Yep.
I think so. Now we're on to.
We're gonna keep this one short.
Just pull them out. Okay. Cameras, we have that. Pokeball.
I like that.
I'm seeing a pattern.
Yeah, well, there's clearly something going on here.
So
We are taking the camera.
I know what Pokemon is.
We are taking the camera.
I don't know,
We're taking
we're
or not.
not. You didn't write it.
I did.
Write it down.
I can erase it.
Yeah, you
She's
can
just
write it.
reading them out, so we can see which is.
Which one? Well, why don't I write down the ones we have and then we'll decide which to keep.
Well, the Pokeball, a syringe.
Ooh, syringes are good. Oh, I like
And
syringes.
that would be a way of putting poison or whatever
In
into.
any of this food.
Right.
Because we don't know the cause of death yet.
Nail clippers.
But then somebody would have to work hard at that.
Maybe the nail clippers is poison.
A poisoned nail clipper? Ooh.
A football.
Oh, yeah. Well, that goes with the line.
Football.
That would make it suspect.
Gorilla glue. There are times I would like to kill with Gorilla glue. That's about, yeah, there's a,
It really is,
like,
just the word machete is terrifying.
a letter opener, yeah, that would work. It's very classic. Called, and this is probably a little bit better because it's a food festival, a butter knife.
But you have to really work at
You
it.
would have to work.
It could be a poison butter knife.
You're really into, I think there's gonna be poison in this mystery, I can just feel it.
But you would want
A hammer.
Well, I think we've done enough.
Yeah.
So I have to confess, I once gave a dinner party with a book about the poisons open on the kitchen counter. And my husband came in just before the guests arrived and looked at it and said, "Dear, I really think we should put this away."
Well, it is a food festival, so there is poison. There is a frying pan.
And there was an antique clock.
And then there's a
How do
poison
you kill
twice.
someone with an antique clock?
I'd like to find that, yeah.
All right, guys, we gotta start writing, because we're not gonna get this story done
All right.
by Christmas.
All right, so we've
This
got,
is very classic for authors.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
love to delay. Let's just talk about this.
And so, right now, we have a victim. Yes, our victim is
Penelope the food.
Penelope, the food critic. We have a setting, we're at a food festival. We have a cast of characters who have some very interesting professions. And so now, do we need a sleuth? In every mystery, there needs to be a protagonist, which is the person who is going to make the story go, and that you're going to follow through the investigation. So who do you like for the sleuth?
Drake May.
Oh, that's sweet.
Anybody else? I mean, that sounds interesting, but yeah.
The dog walker.
I was gonna say, could we have Drake May and the dog walker work together?
Sleuth and a sidekick.
The
Yeah.
sidekick. So who's the sleuth and who's the sidekick?
Caitlin's the sleuth. Caitlin's the sleuth.
So why does Caitlin make a really good sleuth? Because basically dog walkers are out and about, so they see everything that's going on in neighborhoods. Dog walkers are sort of privy to people's behavior because of the way their dogs are trained or not trained. Dog walkers are often confided in by people, they overhear things because they're invisible, right? So that makes Caitlin a good sleuth. Why is Drake May a good sidekick? What role does a sidekick play? Can everybody hear? Because, I just want to make sure, because nobody can ever hear me. We have these tools. Okay, so a kindergarten teacher, again, knows what's going on in people's families and their lives. They know, who are the neglected kids, they know which families are in turmoil, and so forth. But how are we going to tie that into a food festival? Go ahead.
I think the idea is like one of his like colleagues is like is gonna be like doing the event, right? So he knows the person, so that's how he's gonna figure this all out.
So you think that he either volunteers or is?
Yeah, he's gonna volunteer at this food festival. Yes.
Okay. So, all right, we've got a food festival, we've got a victim, and the victim is a food critic, which suggests that somebody wanted her dead because of something she wrote. But is that the real reason?
Well, her negative reviews of something could put some person out of business, some little shop where they sell their own homemade things. So, or she could be, because we have so much jealousy in the local so many times, it could be that she's about to push somebody else out of their food critic job and take it over. So she's coming up in the world, and she's pushing other people aside, and they're jealous and they're fighting back.
don't have another food critic. Is that sort of like the red herring?
Well, or that maybe one of these people that we haven't delved into deeply, because one of the things that we do is we give you characters and we give you background and we gradually reveal secrets about them. Is there an aspiring food critic?
We don't know much about Hanukkah's life, except for the fact that she's a cooking entree.
Right.
You know, which is probably more of a hobby than a profession, so she works in the kitchen.
And maybe the food critic has stolen, Hanako has made comments on things and explains things to her, and Penelope realizes she's jealous because Hanako actually knows more about food than she does, and she's afraid Hanako is going to expose her.
Or she's stealing Hanukkah's recipes.
Yes, okay.
So that would give Hanukkah a motive for murder. Absolutely. But probably Hanukkah, given the way mysteries work, we're going to be giving you characters who are suspects. We are also going to be giving you characters who are witnesses. And witnesses play a very valuable role, both because of the information that they divulge and the lies that they tell. So that, they screw up timelines. They say they saw someone when they didn't see someone. They give false identifications. They lie because they like to, or they lie. People lie for so many good reasons, right?
Why are you looking at me? I'm not a liar.
I'm looking at you because if you don't talk, then I will, and it's just not right.
So who is going to be a witness or somebody who comes forward with some kind of information that turns out to be questionable, unreliable?
Art the photographer.
Yeah,
would be
my
a great
great
position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah. She could have info, she could have photos. So she knows, she's got she witnessed something, she took the photos, or she doesn't realize when she took the photo. That often happens.
She thinks she's got a photo of one group of people,
Right.
but in that photo, there's somebody else.
Right.
Who shouldn't be there, or who says he wasn't there.
Ooh, this is getting good, but now, I really don't know yet.
Yeah.
You mystery writers here tell me, how was Penelope killed?
Okay. Well, let's look at,
We've got these wonderful possibilities.
there's the camera, which made bottom star kind of suspicious. There's a syringe, and you can think about, did somebody stick a needle in her surreptitiously, or did someone use the syringe to put something in the food that Penelope was going to eat, or did Lauren somehow zap her with a football, or was it poison on the football and toss it to her? Yeah. That could be another thing. She's hit in the head or whatever. Is it the poking ball or is it the football?
Or is there poison put on some kind of equipment that
Yes.
she uses in the kitchen?
Right, like the butter knife or the rolling glue.
Or was it something more just dramatic, like you said?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's really,
That's a crime of passion.
that's a crime of passion, unless it's somebody who wants it to look like a crime of passion. But we certainly would start with, if somebody's been hacked with a machete, we can probably make the assumption that there was anger and passion, right? So these are the kinds of things that we go through when we're composing these books. We say, who is our cast of characters? What are their motives? Why are they there? What role do they play? And in what ways are we going to play the great shell game of composition in which we give you things, but we don't want you to see them? Or we tell you things, but we don't want you to recognize their significance? Or we put a clue in, but we hide that clue in plain sight? So there's a syringe on the floor in the room where the body is, and everybody is thinking, what? It turns out that our food critic was a diabetic. So it wouldn't be so unusual for there to be a syringe on the floor. That's not why it's there. I want you guys to write this.
want us or them?
Well,
Well, it sounds to me as if the food critic Penelope has been murdered, and it sounds as if we were saying it was Hanako, who was not just a Pokemon trainer, but she was, she worked in the kitchen.
She had recipes or something
Right.
that the food critic stole.
Right.
Stole.
Or
Actually,
actually,
the most likely suspect.
she might have been doing the actual critique, because she understood the food. And Penelope was
Stealing her work.
Right, so that's where we get to jealousy and revenge.
but we don't want to just say that's the killer. We want to
No,
say.
I'm just saying, we have that in the background. Now let's work around that. How do we make the other people look as if they could be the killer?
I'm a big fan of the most likely suspect is the one.
Right.
Right, and the second most likely is the
Right. So, and I guess I'm writing it from the plotter point of view. I know what it's going to happen, so I'm going to work backwards from that. But other people could be working from their pants or writing from the seat of their pants, that you're going to write it and see how it goes. So, and then you decide, as you're going through, maybe you did it. Yeah.
And lay those clues.
Right. So who else do we want to say could possibly have killed Penelope the food critic?
Maybe Billy Bob was barbecue on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, a brick barbecue.
Yeah, there you go, yeah. And maybe he's the one with the machete. And we've seen that he and Penelope got into an argument over something. Maybe he also had the pet octopus. And Penelope got the octopus away from him, so that for a recipe. And so we think, aha, it's revenge. And maybe they had a fight, and while he was cutting pineapples for his barbecue with the machete, he threatened her. So people were thinking, aha.
They heard him, yeah.
Yeah. So somebody else. Who else could be a possible?
Maybe the octopus gave poison poison in the octopus.
Yeah. So we're thinking that might have been used to kill her. Yeah.
On the other hand,
In the fridge.
we learn along the way
Yes, yeah.
that Octavian
Yeah.
had Penelope as a client
Yes.
when she was accused in another case of stealing somebody's secrets,
Yeah.
and she didn't pay.
Okay.
And she said he was a terrible lawyer. She told everybody he was a terrible lawyer, and he is not happy with her.
It's lawyer scorn.
Yes.
Hell hath no fury like we lawyers scorn.
So we set him up as possibly.
So he's in a whole other category. There are the food people,
Right.
and then there's the lawyer person. How would we find out? How would we go about getting to the heart of this thing? Do we need some more suspects? We've got Billy Bob, who, had a huge public fight with her.
Right.
We have the kindergarten teacher, who's our sleuth.
Right.
Caitlin, who's our sleuth, and the kindergarten teacher, who is the sidekick. We have the Pokemon trainer, who has every reason to want
Yes.
her dead.
What about Barb Starr?
What about Barb Starr? Where does she come into it? She has photographs.
Incriminating evidence.
She has photographs.
I could also add, sometimes you have more than one murder. So maybe Barb Starr, she seems like a suspect, and then we find her murdered. And of course, it turns out she was murdered because she had photographs that would incriminate the actual murderer. But,
The one assumption that we have made,
yeah,
which you always have to look at, is that we can trust the sleuth and the sidekick.
yeah.
Suppose you can't. Suppose what the sidekick, the reason she wants to help so much is because she's the one who did it. She wants to make sure that all of the evidence is pointing to someone else.
So maybe it isn't hot dog.
Actually, Drake is the sleuth.
Oh, sorry.
No, Caitlin's the sleuth, the dog walker.
Right, the dog
Yeah.
walker is the sleuth.
That's right.
She is the side.
She's the side.
Yeah.
Drake is the side.
Drake is the side, the kindergarten teacher.
Right.
And maybe she also hates Penelope because they were in school together and Penelope was a bully. And she's, even to this day, she always digs
I
at.
think that would give Drake a
Wait a minute.
Drake is the kindergarten teacher.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
School children
Right.
every day and
Right.
sees the bullying, so maybe it triggers
Yes,
what
yes.
he remembers about how
Yeah.
Penelope was for him when they were in school.
Exactly.
So he's a mild-mannered school teacher who just snaps.
Yeah.
For our second victim, it would be really interesting if we had Caitlin, who's our sleuth,
Yeah.
be the victim.
That's for a second murder.
For the second murder.
So,
Because she figures out
Because she figures out that it was Drake.
that it was Drake.
so who figures out the whole thing? It's Drake's
Because Drake, the sidekick, is the confidant too. I mean, she's always going to him and saying, well, I saw this, or I heard that, or I know about. But we'd have to do a lot more nice development with the octopus subplot. So that, first of all, we want all of you to be deeply concerned about the octopus and its whereabouts and its issues and so forth. And we really want to play the game where you're sure that you know that it was Barb Starr.
Right.
And then you're absolutely sure
Right.
that it was Octavian because of the way that the clues are going to point you in these directions. So,
We have a lot of backstory
Yeah.
that we really have to fill in.
Right. All
To do it without boring our readers.
that's correct.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Which
don't
is
want
always
to
a
give
challenge.
you, we don't want to give you a chapter on the octopus.
Right.
We have to give you information, accurate scientific information on the octopus so that you understand why people would care so much that something has happened in the street. They're highly intelligent. They are aware that we're intelligent.
Maybe the octopus did it.
And you know, an octopus with a cleaver and a food show is a really wonderful concept.
So if we have two murders,
Yeah.
one of them the sleuth, who is going to actually figure it out
Right.
and go to the police.
Right. I would have it be the most unlikely person in my story, who's always on the peripheral,
Figures
kind of
out.
watching how things are going. There's always like in a scene, you know, with some of the detectives talking to people, but that person's always kind of there, and they're the one. Like Miss Marple,
Yeah.
you know, like everything
Yeah.
happens around Miss Marple, but she's the one who just takes all of those clues and puts them all.
So is it be Lauren? I mean, it's the
football
football
player.
player.
Or it could be the photographer.
Well, because, and the photographer's the one who sees something
Yeah.
in the photo.
And you could also use the fact that she's a photographer, she captures something.
Right.
Yes.
That leads her to realize that it's Drake all along,
Right.
even though all signs are pointing to her.
Yeah.
And of course, we would have a lot of fun because along the way we would have probably some secrets. Secrets are really good things, you know, things that people know about each other that point in their directions. We would have unexpected connections, like very often in one of these stories, it will turn out that somebody was related to somebody else, either an illegitimate child or a denied child or something like that. And there's inheritances are really good for that. You know, so give everybody you can a motive that you want to figure out so as to muddy the waters as much as possible. But as
And a parent opportunity.
Yeah.
It looks like they have a chance.
Yeah.
But if we find out, well, no, it's always. They have. Although they could have done it, they could have had the opportunity. Right.
So if you all were writing this, what is the title of the book?
Poison ink, I think.
Need a time.
Probably
Need a time.
candy, yeah.
Festival
Festival fiasco.
Food Festival Fiasco.
Yes.
That's good.
That's
Good.
good? That's good. Now, that means that it's probably more on the cozy end of the
Yeah.
spectrum, despite the machete and the bloody body on the floor and the
If
syringe.
you're doing cozy, then it's most likely a syringe or
Yeah.
poisoning.
Right, that's true.
But I would do a machete and cozy.
That's what we like. So we don't, not a lot of tough talk.
So those of us who write police procedurals, we have a terrible tendency to have rather violent crime scenes.
My stuff is a lot lighter, so I definitely would have something a little bit funny.
Other titles.
No machetes. There might be a knife.
It'd be interesting, I know nothing about the police, but if we do a time on something in the game, to title that might work. That would be nice.
Although Food Festival Fiasco, it sounds like the beginning of a bunch of foodie mysteries.
Yeah.
We have to put in a few recipes, probably not for octopus.
Yeah, the octopus could be named for one character.
Yes, yeah, that's it, yeah.
Slowpoke, that's my favorite.
Beginning of a series.
The slowpoke, the slowpoke.
So, we,
I'm going to make one point.
very important.
We have all of these ingredients for a mystery. And all of you have them. Every one of you could go home and start writing a mystery on the basis of all of this. And no two stories would be the same. You are different from each other. You pick pieces, you see them differently. But anybody can take this, go home, write your mystery, try to sell it, publish it. But it will still be unique. It will not be like any of the others that your neighbors are writing.
Just make sure you thank us and you acknowledge.
And tell people to buy our books too.
And by all means, thank the octopus. But there often is something like that that just sort of floats through the plot. Yes.
So what do you think? Are you ready to start writing?
Have we turned any of you into crime writers yet?
Do you guys have any questions on, on writing, on what we did here, or format, or process?
I have about 7,000 little Post-it notes around my office that look exactly. Just lots of stuff written down, stuff to the side and the margins, upside down. And eventually it does coalesce into a full story. And hopefully makes sense.
Yeah, we should bring you pictures of our offices.
Yeah.
Well, I actually did a blog on my website about doing research for a book, and you can see the pictures of me. Well, I went to the Boston Public Library because I had to set part of the scene there. And then I was also having people trying to drive up Maine in 1947 during the forest fires. So there's pictures of me with maps, and where I've written and I've made circles where all the forest fires were, so I could figure out how they got up there and how long it would take and that kind of thing. So yeah, do a lot. There's a lot of research and a lot of thinking.
And it really is true that if you looked at our internet research, we'd probably all be impressed. But it's absolutely fascinating. Probably for me, the most amazing thing that I discovered when I realized that we had to do research to get it right was how willing people are to talk to us. You go and you say to somebody, that doesn't know you from Adam, I want to know about X. And they will tell you. Or they will say, well, what sort of detail do you want? Or they'll just start to talk, and 45 minutes later, they will have given you, this incredible summary of how you divers bring a body up from the bottom of the ocean, or whatever it is that you need to know. And it's some of the things we need to know are so weird and fascinating. You've got a whole period thing that you have to pay attention to. Susan writes mysteries set in India, so she has an entire culture to deal with.
I have friends there, fortunately, and I used to live there. And actually, because of how rapidly the culture in India changed between 1976 when I first went there, and 1999 when I went back after several years. I mean, it was just like, all of a sudden, before things changed, quite never happened. Because I knew a time before the old culture was eclipsed. It's still there, but it's pretty much eclipsed. It was the norm when it was there. Now it's receding. But that's, I stay in touch with my friends. I've been back several times. But I stay in touch with my friends. And when I'm not sure, I email one friend in particular because her husband was Secretary of State under the earlier government, which was communist, and he could tell me all about the prisons. And I have a story that ends with a woman in prison. And they published, interesting, I don't think you know, but they published the list of the menu of meals in prison, the week up to, so your family can see what you're eating. And all sorts of other stuff. And people go on leave for a family wedding. You're serving 5 years and you go home on a wedding. The president's going to do that.
Wow.
And they have a little business going for people who live in the neighborhood. I mean, it's a very different system. It's fairly simple. So I write with her, and she tells me, or how she has, I'm sure she has her husband, she doesn't know, and he comes back, this. So that informed the final scene, and I would never have thought of it. And they have village gardens. It's almost like they're living in a sort of communal compound rather than in a prison. And I'm sure they do have a prison for high level, but this is really ordinary stuff, whatever that is. I have sources and I have to listen to them and ask questions because, it's not like the West. And it's fascinating.
I do a lot of research on this. Sharon and I both write history set in World War II. And for a book I wrote that's set around, revolves around the events of Pearl Harbor, I was able to get to listen to radio broadcasts from those few days. So all the news programs, they were just all recorded. So at a place called Internet Archive, if you've ever been online, there's all kinds of radio, TV, there's all kinds of resources. It's free right now, anyway. We'll see what happens. But anyway, so I was able to listen to the broadcast days from December 7th, 8th, and 9th. And that was pretty amazing just to hear. The number one thing was confusion. Nobody knew what was going on. And people didn't even know what Pearl Harbor was. News reported mispronouncing names. It's very interesting. And I tried to capture that and condense it into a scene about an ordinary family in America, hearing about these things and what the impact was going to be on them. So, as it was happening to them live, so I tried to get that feeling. And another thing I did was, in my time travel series, I had a scene set during the Battle of the Bulge. And so I did a lot of, being, but I didn't want to do, histories of it. But I was able to get a hold of a couple of diaries from soldiers who were there. And so just what they wrote about their experiences. And it was little things like, a guy sitting there watching a bird, bathing, in the cold day, there was a little bit of water around the bird was bathing, and just that kind of those little things, that I was able to capture. And the scene is set in a gathering of soldiers in a community center. And so I found a soldier who was actually in one of these gatherings, it was like the lull before the bulge started. And I really read his stuff, and it was just very ordinary. We talked about being amongst all these guys and how they all stunk. I found it very fascinating, so I tried to use that also, but put it in the context of what the action was that was happening in the stories. And that's what the thing with research is you get all this stuff, and then you have to sort of model it like clay, so you can put it into the story and you're not going overboard and spending pages and pages just giving lots of information. People's eyes will glaze over after a while. So.
It's not a history class.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You want the action to get moving.
So has that caused any questions that you're dying to know about? Because we love to talk about what we do, and we're
Go to a couple of the goals that's highlighted something. Lay out structure.
How do we structure a book? Well, there's 4 answers to that.
Yeah.
More different ways.
We have a professor.
Well, myself, I kind of have ideas of the story I want to write, and I have some little vignettes in my head that I see. So I write down the vignettes, and then I think about, all right, how do these go together? So I create an outline. And, as you're writing, you have to think about, well, how do I get from point A to point C? So what's my point B going to be? And so I go through the outline, but then once you start writing, you may find that something in your outline doesn't really fit, or it's just making it too long, so you have to ditch it. Or you may find that you thought you got from one point to the next, but you need to put something in between. So I'm more of what we were talking, I was mentioning before, I'm more of a plot. I really need to plot it out ahead of time. But I think everybody does a little bit of both, because again, as I'm going through it, I need to, sometimes I make adjustments, or I get an inspiration of something I think it's going to make it better. And I think a lot of times, even if you're a pantser, as you're going through,
Looks at me.
yeah.
You could look at me.
You-
I'm
you-
actually a coder, so.
So you need to kind of see, you may be writing along, but sometimes you need to stop and think, okay, I don't know how I'm going to get to the next point, so you may have to think ahead. So that's what's it called?
A cooker? Oh, it's halfway between.
Yeah.
Somebody who
Yeah.
does an outline
Yeah.
and follows the outline, and somebody who sits down and says, I wonder what's happening in my book today.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sort of right in the middle. I carry it around in my head for about 3 months before I start to write.
Yeah.
And I cook it until I say, okay, I write police procedurals. So who was killed? Why were they killed? How were they killed? What am I going to put at the crime scene? Who actually did it? Who might have wanted them dead, and how are we going to figure it out? But not in an outline, just in my head, and then I just work from there. So that's great.
I see, somebody doing something, or why are they doing it? And, just watch them, and then I hear sentences. And when I find myself thinking about sentences, okay, I guess I got some. But I watch these people and figure out what are they up to. And when I have a sense of who they are, that's what they're up to. But I don't kind of know. So then I start writing because I have no clue. I write the sentences, I write them down, and that's what you say. It means where we'll go, but I probably. And I keep writing, and then, I get this feeling of, oh, this needs to happen, something needs to happen. That sentence would be useful. And I have other sentences. I use random pieces while I'm trying to figure out who are these people and what are they up to. And I learn a little more, and pretty soon I'm not doing it. And you read it.
Which is great, and thank you very much, because I can see you're getting restless. So, thanks for giving us your attention.